Deep in the forests and sanctuaries of Kenya, Uganda, Sri Lanka, and India, elephants leave behind mountains of waste every single day. It's heavy, it's pungent, and to almost anyone walking past, it looks like nothing more than a mess to step around. But inside a small number of hidden factories scattered across 3 continents, that waste isn't garbage at all. It's raw material, the starting point of one of the strangest and most quietly profitable recycling industries on the planet. What happens next turns something worthless into a product shipped across oceans. An adult elephant eats an extraordinary amount of food every day: grass, bamboo, bark, fruit, sometimes over 200 pounds of plant matter in a single 24-hour period. But an elephant's digestive system is remarkably inefficient. It breaks down less than half of what it consumes, meaning the rest passes through almost untouched, still packed with long plant fibers. The result is dung that is structurally shockingly close to raw paper pulp before it's even processed. For factory owners, this changes everything about the economics. The raw material costs nothing. In fact, in many sanctuaries and conservation parks, staff are often eager to have it hauled away, since a single reserve housing thousands of elephants can generate tons of waste daily. What a traditional paper mill would pay real money for logging rights, timber, wood pulp shipped from distant forests, these small factories simply collect for free, straight from the source. The transformation begins before sunrise. Workers move quietly through elephant sanctuaries, gathering fresh dung by hand into large woven sacks. It's physically demanding, unglamorous work carried out in heat and humidity, often alongside the very elephants that produced it. But this early morning collection is the foundation the entire business is built on. Back at the facility, the dung is dumped into large concrete tanks and washed thoroughly, again and again, until the smell fades and only the fibrous material remains. This washing stage matters more than it might seem. The dirty runoff isn't discarded either. Many facilities channel it directly onto nearby fields as natural fertilizer, meaning almost nothing from the original waste goes to waste twice. What's left after washing is the valuable part: raw plant fiber, already partially broken down by the elephant's own digestion. Grass, bamboo shoots, and tree bark that would normally require industrial shredders to break apart have already been softened and separated by nature itself, essentially pre-processed for free. That fiber is then boiled for several hours in large open vats, a step that sterilizes it completely and softens it further until it reaches a workable, oatmeal-like pulp consistency. Workers stir the vats continuously, then run the mixture through blending equipment, straining out any remaining coarse material. What emerges is a smooth, fibrous slurry, visually almost indistinguishable from the wood pulp used in conventional paper mills, except this pulp cost absolutely nothing to produce. The pulp is then poured across large flat mesh screens and spread evenly by hand, a delicate practiced motion that determines the thickness and texture of every sheet. Excess water is pressed out using wooden frames and rollers, and the wet sheets are carried outside to dry naturally under open sunlight. Depending on humidity, drying can take anywhere from several hours to a full day. Once dry, each sheet is carefully peeled away from its screen, trimmed at the edges, and inspected under natural light. And here's where the process reveals something no factory-made paper can replicate. No 2 sheets look exactly alike. A diet heavy in bananas produces a warmer, honey-toned paper. A diet of mostly bamboo and coarse grass creates a rougher, more textured finish. Younger elephants with sharper teeth grind their food more finely, producing smoother, more refined sheets. Older elephants, whose teeth have worn down over decades, produce coarser, more rustic paper. What would be considered a flaw in any ordinary paper mill becomes the entire selling point here. Every single sheet is naturally, provably one of a kind. From there, sheets are cut and shaped into finished goods: notebooks, greeting cards, gift boxes, wedding invitations, and photo frames. Some workshops press dried flowers or leaves directly into the pulp before drying, creating decorative textures completely impossible to replicate with standard machine-made paper. This has grown into a genuine employment engine across some of the world's poorest rural regions. One well-documented operation on the Kenyan coast, built around the Mwaluganj Elephant Sanctuary, employs 42 people and generates an annual profit of around $23,000. In a Western context, that figure might sound small, but in a rural farming community where subsistence agriculture was previously the only option, it represents genuine, stable income. Similar models exist elsewhere. In Uganda, a women's cooperative operating near Queen Elizabeth National Park involves roughly 85 members and volunteers collecting dung across surrounding villages, with earnings split among members and additional funds channeled into community savings and school support for local orphans. Kenya alone is now home to around 17 elephant dung paper companies, with additional operations spreading into neighboring countries. Sri Lanka's Eco Maximus has been running continuously since 1997, And in India, a well-known brand called Hathai Shop has built a full commercial identity around the concept, proving this isn't a one-off novelty but a repeatable business model. The math behind this industry is almost hard to believe. From roughly 50 kilograms of daily dung, a single elephant can supply enough raw material for around 125 sheets of A4 paper, with raw material costs sitting at zero and processing expenses limited mostly to labor, water, and basic drying equipment. Nearly every dollar earned from selling finished paper drops straight to profit. Compare that to conventional wood pulp paper mills, which typically operate on razor-thin margins, often under 10%, weighed down by timber costs, chemical processing, and heavy machinery. Elephant dung paper inverts that entire model. With zero raw material cost, profit margins on finished products can realistically exceed 60%, even after factoring in labor, packaging, and transport. And crucially, the pricing holds up in the marketplace. Because the paper is marketed as eco-friendly, cruelty-free, and directly tied to wildlife conservation, it commands prices comparable to and often higher than standard specialty or handmade paper, despite costing almost nothing to source in the first place. This isn't a small local craft operation confined to gift shops near national parks. It's a genuine export industry with international reach. India's Hathai Shop exported its paper exclusively to Germany for its first 4 years in business, before ever selling a single sheet domestically. European buyers in particular have shown consistently strong demand for sustainable, conservation-linked paper products, markets where eco-luxury and story-driven goods routinely command a premium over mass-produced alternatives. Part of that premium comes down to narrative. Every purchase indirectly funds elephant conservation, supports anti-poaching patrols, and gives local farmers a genuine economic alternative to clearing forest land or encroaching on elephant migration corridors. Buyers across Germany, the UK, and increasingly the United States aren't just purchasing paper, they're purchasing a story they feel good about owning. What began as an overlooked byproduct of an elephant's digestion has quietly become a cross-continental industry, employing thousands of people, shipping across oceans, and transforming something almost everyone considers worthless into a product people are willing to pay a genuine premium for. This is waste to worth.